Good evening, chat. Hello. I am in full on grandpa mode tonight because I am freezing to death. I got the chills all freaking day. I don't know what's going on. Don't know what's going on. And yes, I was literally on my PC making. Yes, I had to run to the bathroom, so I thought I could get it done in time. Apparently not. Right, guys. Welcome to the show. My name is Sean, also known as Potentially Criminal. I'm an attorney in the Cleveland, Ohio area, and tonight, this is. I mean, there's some serious things, but overall, actually, no, it's like a half and half show. Some serious stuff you guys need to be aware of what's going on, and then yeah, there's some funny things that are happening. So we are going to do that all tonight. I do want to let you know we are live tonight on YouTube, Twitter, and tonight Rumble. Rumble is actually working. So if you guys want to go on Rumble, I know for some reason a bunch of you want Rumble. There you go. You can go tickle the plussy over there. But Rumble is up and running tonight. So um and then oh uh, Maddie, I appreciate your super chat, but do you want me to put that like on screen? That's very personal. Um, so please let me know because otherwise, I am sorry for your loss, and I'm sorry for what just happened to you, the setback you had. Um, you can always keep moving forward though. Um, hold on one second. Okay. Um, but yeah, Maddie, my heart goes out to you, man. I am very sorry to hear that, and if there's anything I could do for you, please let me know. Please let me know. If there's a way for me to make it happen, I will try to make it happen. So, yeah. And I can tell you, there's other people here who care about you and hope you're doing okay. So just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Yeah, Dolly Talk, from player to player, pimp to pimp. He says, "Hang in there, man." So just keep it in mind. Yeah, and I'm glad you're still here. So is everyone else. So I'm still glad you're here. Uh, so, um, we're gonna keep, like I said, Matt. If you need to talk at all, I mean, if you're okay, that's fine. But if you need to, let me know. I mean, like, we'll stop this if I have to. Not afraid to do that. Um, hold on here, chat. All right. Okay. Yeah. There's people here, man. There's people here who want to look out for you. All right, guys. I guess we'll keep going though. In addition to we're live on Rumble. We are live on Locals tonight. You guys find us over at potentiallycriminal.locals.com. Use a promo code summertime 2025. You get 1 month free access. With that 1 month of free access, you get access to all the you get to the live shows we do. We do 2 live shows a week. We do a Monday night show starting at 9. We do a Thursday night show right after this one. We do that. It's always a fun time. It's all the stuff we can't talk about here or don't have time to get to here or inappropriate here. I will tell you guys, I am not feeling 100%, so we are not going to do the Thursday night after show tonight. So while I just told you about all of that, we're not doing it tonight. I don't feel the best, and I don't want to go for, 5-6 hours tonight. So we're just going to do the main show and call it good. I will make it up to Locals at some point here in the future. I promise that. I promise you guys that. But if you guys want to support me, you guys can sign up for free. It's like Patreon. Costs you nothing to join. If you want to support, it's $3 a month. You pay for 10 months, you get 2 months free. So you get access to those shows. In addition, guys, we do stuff like if Medicare's on, we'll do that. If Formula One's on, we'll do that. Sometimes we'll watch a casino, whatever's going on. And then if you guys wish to support, you get access to the quality content. You will get it there. And What was I going to say? I forget what I was going to say. Anyways, guys, use the promo code summertime 2025. Give you 1 month free access. I think you will enjoy it if you haven't tried it before. So that's over at potentiallycriminal.locals.com. Thank you, guys. And then let's see here. Saying get well, like I'm okay overall. I just feel like, ooh, it's just very weird what's happening tonight. And guys, also, we normally try to give it a couple minutes to let people filter in, and then let people filter in to come in for everybody. Young and Bitters is rough day for everybody. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like it. Sounds like it. Katie says, this is not what I pay for. Well, do I accept coupons? No. No. I was gobbling cock all day. Well, shh. You were there. Of course you know. You just got here after waking up from anesthesia? Well, I hope you're okay, Blueberries. Hopefully you're doing all right. It has been blazing hot out. How can it be cold? I don't know. All I know is like about 11 o'clock, I started getting like the chills. And it's like 85 degrees outside. And I was just like, whoa. Like I had to put the windows up and shut the AC off to get the car warm so I quit having chills for a little while. So I don't know what happened. Have you tried Mucinex all-in-one? I have. I don't know what's happening right now, but yeah, I need to probably use that a little more. Did I get the Woo flu? I don't think so. Gotten it a million times, though. It's because you're 40, I guess. You just came from the ER. Stop being a bitch. I know. I'm here. All right. And then Connie Death Squad for $5. Thank you, by the way. Says Sean is now on the FBI most wanted list for his sandwich skills. Oh, we're getting to that, chat. We're getting to that. Yes, I'm sure I'm going to get consulted here soon. So I'm going to get consulted on that. Matt Getz says, how about seeing a medical professional? Well, if it goes away tonight, I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, we're going to save that one for later. I'll save that one for later. All right, guys, I think it's about time. About 8 minutes in. We don't have any mail tonight, so we'll go ahead and start working on this. So I guess we'll start off with the one that, should this have been a felony? I don't know, but this is the DC sandwich attack, and I just don't understand. Here what's going on. So this is outside. This is in Washington, D.C. as part of Trump's big push to have law enforcement, Capitol Police, D.C. Metropolitan Police, everywhere pushing out there to go after crime. Because remember, Washington, D.C. is a crime-riddled shithole. Now, they might sit there and tell you, oh, well, we've had the lowest crime ever. They had 187 murders last year. 187 murders in a city that's 68 square miles. That's a lot of murders. And remember, not all of it's happening in like the spots, like right around the federal buildings. It's not happening in the northwest part of Washington, D.C., where all the reporters and white people live. None of it's happening there. It's all happening in the southern part of Washington, D.C. And it's really, 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 really bad. You know, Washington, D.C. has a higher murder rate per 100,000 than Bogota, Colombia, and Mexico City. So there's some problems here. Now this is funny because this guy's name is Sean Dunn. It's always got to be a Sean with a sandwich. So he's yelling at a couple of federal agents, and just look at him. Look at this shit.
Motherfucker! Oh!
Like, did he think he was going to be allowed to do that? You're not allowed to throw shit at people. That's assault. It's still assault. It doesn't matter. Like, you know, whether I spit on you, hit you with a wiffle ball bat, or hit you with a brick, it's still assault. Now, there's going to be levels of assault. Should this be a felony? I don't know, but we're gonna get to why I think it is at the end of the day here. So anyway, watch him. He's like, "Oh, I better run! Oh, don't help me! Ooh!"
Oh!
Oh! Oh! It's fucking gun! It's fucking gun!
I wish they would have fucking tased him. So they ended up arresting him. And this is him getting arrested. And yeah, this is what happens from here. The U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia, Janine Pirro. Yes, Judge Janine. That cringe lady from Fox News. Like, ugh, why is she in charge? But anyway, here we go. Here's her talking. I mean, this is like not the most flattering still you could imagine for her, but here you go. I mean, it's very interesting the way this is set up here.
So President Trump has vowed to make DC safe and beautiful again. And as part of his effort to fight crime, he's bringing in our federal law enforcement partners like FBI, ATF, DEA, or Park Police, everybody to help the Metropolitan PD fight crime. And the president's message to the criminals was, if you spit, we hit. Well, we didn't quite do that the other night when an individual went up to one of the federal law enforcement officers and started jumping up and down, screaming at him, berating him, yelling at him. And then he took a Subway sandwich about this big and took it and threw it at the officer. He thought it was funny. Well, he doesn't think it's funny today because we charged him with a felony, assault on a police officer. And we're going to back the police to the hilt. So there. Stick your Subway sandwich somewhere else.
Like, and she thinks it's a Fox News promo. Now here's what happened to him. He was indicted, or he was charged in district court for the District of Columbia. Remember, chat, even though the U.S. Attorney's Office prosecutes all crime in D.C., this is in federal court. So this is serious. This is in federal court for the District of Columbia. And what happened? On or about August 10th, my birthday, he assaulted, resisted, or impeded officers and employees of the United States. Now, they did do a statement of facts for this, and there's not a whole lot to it, but it is kind of funny how they, like, this is so in-depth, but we're going to get to hear what happens. So on August 10th at about 11 p.m., the Metro Transit Police and members of the U.S. Customs and Border Patrol were patrolling an area in Northwest D.C. Detective Henry observed an individual referenced as Sean Charles Dunn began to shout at a CPB agent who was at the time of the offense an employee of the United States and acting in the performance of his duties. You're like, all right, well, this isn't looking so good so far. And Zakuza, I think I agree. I think that's the ultimate issue here. Dunn stood within inches of V1 or of Agent Larimore, pointed his finger at his face, yelled, "Fuck you! You fucking fascist! Why are you here? I don't want you in my city! I'm assuming it went like that. They continued his conduct for several minutes before crossing the street, continuing to yell obscenities. This right here is acceptable conduct, First Amendment protected. This right here, he's allowed to do it. 1A protects him all the way. Now notice it's like minutes later, Dunn approached him and threw a sandwich at him, striking him in the chest. And the Instagram video captured the incident. The video depicts Dunn throwing something within inches of his face for several seconds before winding his arm back and forcefully throwing a sub-style sandwich. Like, what? Like, yes, I'm fighting fascism. Ooh. I'm fighting fascism. Stop. So, Dunn attempted to flee, but was apprehended. While being processed, he said, "I did it. I threw a sandwich." There you go, you fucking tard. You tard. And that was from the Metro Transit Police. And guys, transit police are the police that work for the bus and the subway system for DC. But, most of your police, most transit systems you'll have in any place that's got a big enough transit system like Cleveland, RTA, the Regional Transit Authority, has its own police department. its own police force that is on the buses and on the, the rapid and whatnot. So, yes, but this is a felony now. And honestly, I don't feel bad for the guy. It looked like it was a Subway sandwich, so it wasn't a waste. It's a Subway sandwich. Come on now. It can't be. You guys are worried about that. Yeah, my SJW guy voice is my shit. I'm glad you like it. So anyway, yes, this is, and Judge Janine, Janine Pirro just kind of put it out there. You're going to be made as a fucking example. It's not that you really did felonious conduct, but we could charge you and we're going to fucking bend you over. And the funny thing is the guy worked for the DOJ. It doesn't like he didn't know you can't do certain things. He's not like a 19-year-old. He's 37 years old. And he is going to get torched for this. I don't feel bad for him at that point. At some point, you're not allowed to do stuff. And acting like a 10-year-old and throwing something at somebody and running away, that's what women and children do. Did he, certainly he thought this was going to be no problems at all. I do what I want. That's literally what he thought. It's literally what he thought is, I do what I want. And I'm sure he's sitting there thinking, oh, shit now. It's the most expensive sandwich he's ever paid for. So I don't feel bad for him. Maybe this gets pled out at some point. Maybe he goes to trial and he gets found guilty of like misdemeanor assault or something. I don't know. But I don't see the feds backing down off this. They're going to make him suffer. And sometimes, remember, chat, the interest of justice is to make someone suffer. You are the reason everybody sees you suffer. And then going forward, everybody else leaves it alone. Nobody else acts up because they don't want to be made an example of either. And watching this guy get made as an example, that is enough at times. That's enough at times for people to understand what's going on here. What's going on there. Now, you guys do have some comments here. I was the second sandwich at the protest. That's right. I was hiding there waiting. Yes, I'm on the FBI's most wanted list for my sandwich skills. I know. I know too much now. The Benjamin 2000 for $5. Thank you. Says, does assault not care what you use? If I attack you with a wiffle ball bat, a piece of hollow plastic, that's still an assault charge. It is. But typically when you assault a police officer, regardless of the level of assault or severity, they can charge that as a felony in pretty much everywhere. Now, if you get to trial and you hit a police officer with a wiffle ball bat, yeah, it's going to look really stupid. And yeah, that'd be a fun one to take to trial because a jury is going to say, okay, no. But you are not allowed to touch people without permission. And this guy is going to be made an example of. This managerial, bureaucratic apparatchik class that's been running around D.C., they're going to have to get buck broken. And it sounds like this is how it's going to happen. Unforced ego for $20. Thank you. It's good to see you, by the way. It's been a little while. Hope you're doing well. Says, I live in the D.C. area. The rich areas have bars over their windows and steel locking gates on the outside of their front doors. They're lying to you when they say they believe it's safe. Oh, I understand. D.C. is, how many in the past year, like 2 or 3 congressmen were carjacked? No, D.C. is not a safe place. It is very, very dangerous. And you can't carry a gun there to protect yourself. But thank you for the super chat, by the way. JDK says, I bet the sandwich number of the serial number fell off. And Ag says, it was a ham sandwich, wasn't it? I don't know, but they indicted it, so maybe it was. HIV1 says, over a sandwich is a bit overwrought. Maybe, but remember, sometimes law enforcement in the pursuit of justice is making an example of people. And he might become an example for people of don't fuck with us. Really, Washington, D.C. is a lawless place, and he comes running up screaming about fascism, and it's like, buddy, dudes are going to, carjack you and murder you. And they're trying to stop that. That's not fascism. Tech Guy South says we need common sense sandwich control. Dee says running and throwing is what women do. Yes. And Bella does bring up a great thing. Yes. During the Portland protest, Antifa was making milkshakes They would make a milkshake and then they would pour in concrete with it to make them so they could throw them, because you just walk around with, oh, I got a milkshake. And, throwing basically chunks of concrete at people because, you cook it around and do that. Ag Biochemist says, this is what Nick Ricada wanted me to do. I was his Manchurian candidate. He wanted me to go attack the cops. Yes. And Bella, that was a very good point, by the way. Rod is saying, and this is something I think is true. I can't remember last time I had Subway. I can't either. It's like the lowest tier sandwich shop. It is. It is. A packaged sandwich from a gas station is better. I would agree. Ain't no Jimmy John's. JDK says, did the sandwich have a bump stock? Yeah. And Takuza, you're right. I think this is meant to, you got to make the stupid hurt. And I think that's part of what we're looking at here. And then Pray times 12 says, good evening, Sean. Well, good evening to you, too. More like Manchurian candidate. I wouldn't have ran that far. Well, you're right. I wouldn't have ran that far. He was there looking for ICE police, and any police present saw him asking where they were. Oh, wow. Okay, well, there we go. Interesting. Well, there's frozen water bottles. That's another Antifa thing. The more common thing they do is a canned food drive, because they'd say, hey, we're doing community outreach. We're going to have a canned food drive. You start chucking cans of food at the police. And because you're allowed to walk around with a can of corn. You're allowed to be in a crowd with a can of corn. I'm here for the food drive. My cat's name is Karen. Says, my college boyfriend, ER doctor, got arrested in D.C. at Trump Towers. He went there with weapons, weed, and a prostitute to talk to him about Big Pharma. Ooh, interesting. Jersey Mike's is a superior sandwich shop. Fuck Jimmy John's. Okay, now we're being a little ridiculous. Publix, I've never had a Publix sub. I've heard they're good. My dad's even told me, everything Publix makes is really good, but never had it. I'll have to when I go down to Florida again. Benjamin says, at least it was a Subway and not Jersey Mike's. If he went and used the number 13 on White, he should be charged for destruction of the sandwich. Oh, hold on. What is Jersey Mike's number 13? Oh, the original Italian? Why is that not like number 1? It's like the most basic sub. That's what we did on the Sandwich Day show for members only. We did all Italians. So what are the sentencing guidelines for this felony assault? Presumably probation. There was no severe injury, anything like that. So Buc-ee's, I didn't know. Does Buc-ee's do subs? Potbelly, never. Wawa Master Race. Yeah, see, I don't never didn't know Wawa did subs. So it's because they're late to the hoagie game. All right, guys. All right. Well, anyways, that's I don't feel bad for him. It's just the way they went about this. You're like, I don't know about this, but okay. I mean, whatever. Now there was an interesting somebody trying to be an edgy boy, and I'm like, I don't feel bad for this man. I still think in a just world, he should be looking under his, just like James Comey, he should be having to look under his car every fucking morning. And that is Jack Smith. There was a photo taken this week, a couple days ago, I think. Jack Smith leaving a Subway. All the horrible, nasty fucking things that could happen to him, I would not feel bad about happening to him. So we'll leave it at that. And not even in Minecraft. In real life. So, Jack Smith gave him a sub. It wouldn't surprise me given how corrupt he is. But that's him trying to fucking, that's him giving the middle finger to everybody. Because he's a turd. So. All right, guys. Moving on from there, this is a interesting thing that happened. There was a shooting in Seattle over stolen valor. And the guy, and this is the guy here, Gregory Tim, and we have the video of it. He's famous for once driving his car into a Trump voter registration drive in 2020. Shot a wheelchair man bound in the chest point blank over allegations of stolen valor. Now, it's a little weird how this goes down, but this is not how you want to defend yourself. All right. So, they claim that before he demanded to see this guy's military ID and removed a patch from his belongings right before the shooting. And they say that this prompted the victim to holster what is an airsoft gun. And from here, guys, it's like, I don't see how, and this is the victim he shoots. There's an entire video of this. And this is the moment it breaks down. And you're like, does this really look like something serious? Look how far away these people are. And we actually have video of this whole thing coming down. And it's just, it doesn't make, like, this guy does everything wrong. So notice this guy, I will say, the guy in the wheelchair has got a big old fucking knife. I mean, look at him. He's got a big old knife in his hands. But here's where the shooter, I think, messes up. Now he's standing there. Now, does he seem like he's in danger? You know, he's not running away. He could get away from this guy. He cleared distance. Like, why wouldn't you move out of the way? He grabs his backpack. And this right here, is this going to be self-defense? Is that self-defense to you? No, that's not self-defense at all. This is not self-defense at all. I mean, I don't see how this is self-defense. You know, you're like just standing there jerking off on this guy. You guys are jawing off at each other. And yeah, aim. I agree. Is this guy able to stand, Henrik? I don't think so. And even if he could stand, you're already 10, 15 feet away. You could keep moving. This guy clearly has the ability to walk away. It sounds like he was the aggressor in it. I just don't think a jury's going to see this as self-defense. So the wheelchair guy was pulling his airsoft gun. Yeah, but you're already like, I think he's in a lot of trouble here. It just doesn't look good. This is not a very good argument. Now he can make the argument and it'll be up to a jury to decide. I don't think he's going to win that. Let's see here. Do they have a duty to retreat? Actually, I don't know if they do. But if he was the initial aggressor, he is going to have a duty to retreat. If he started this fight and yanked the guy's patch away and stuff like that, he would have a duty to disengage. Because if you're the aggressor, you have to clear the fight before you can continue to defend yourself. So, Washington is still a stand your ground state? Okay. Washington has a mutual combat rule. Yes, it does. But these guys definitely are not mutual combat like that. He chose to stand there and clearly thought about. I know it's very premeditated. You know, notice like everybody else, it's just like, get the fuck away, man. Get the fuck away. Like, you know, is this worth getting arrested for? He shoots, and we're not showing it YouTube because you're gonna cry. So as that happens,
All right, everybody. Show me your ID. Pull a fucking gun on me.
notice that whole. You notice he says, "Show me your ID." He's not even worried about the gun at this point. He's not even worried about the gun. Just show me your ID. He's like, "How dare you pull a gun on me?" Think about how stupid that is. I see a smoke signal talk what's on. Oh. Yeah, but this guy doing the shooting's a wackadoodle. Yeah, let's just listen to him.
Show me your ID. Pull a fucking gun on me! Pull a fucking gun on me! Put it away, sir.
See, now you're like telling them to put it away. Do you sound like a guy who's in threat? Like, you put your gun away while he still has his gun out. Like, ooh. This is not looking good.
All right, everybody, I apologize. Pull a gun on me.
I apologize. And notice this guy's still holding the gun and he's not shooting. How is it? Are you still not a threat? Like, this doesn't look like a threat at this point.
Right.
And it doesn't help that this guy himself, he is his own version of a lunatic. He could face up to life in prison if he's convicted of first-degree assault. I think he's going to get convicted. Like, it's going to be very weird. It's going to be very weird here how this breaks down. So, but this is him. He's famous for in Florida driving his car into a Trump voter registration. He told police he didn't like Trump when they arrested him. In court, he saw his actions in the Florida incident as his duty. So, like, oh, this guy's a wackadoodle. This guy is a wackadoodle. He says the only reason this administration was getting away with these atrocious crimes is because we were rolling over and taking it, he said in court. So, yeah. This guy, absolute lunatic. Absolute lunatic. He could get endangering on the others as well. I know, but I don't think they're going to do that. I don't think they do that. Why didn't Florida lock him up for life? I don't know. Don't know. Don't know. Don't know. So, what a nutter. Yep. How is that guy legally possessing a firearm? Well, maybe that's a separate matter. Maybe he's not. Maybe he's not legally possessing a firearm. We don't know. So good to see you, Will. Hope you're doing well. The real gentlemen would have a duel. Yes, they would. They would. Seattle is full of crazies. Yes. Spudgun says, real quick, he's asking a question. Would it be battery rather than assault? It all depends on how it's phrased under the law. So, for example, in Ohio, battery is not a crime. You could sue someone for battery, but the way that your state may classify things, this is, and I'll use this as an example here. This is in Ohio. We don't have battery as a crime. And the assault statute is lobbed in together with the murder stuff. So anyway, we have vehicular assault. If you attack somebody with a car, it's vehicular assault. Felonious assault. You cause or intend to cause serious physical harm to somebody. We have aggravated assault, which is just a misdemeanor. You have negligent assault. It just depends on how your state words things. So that's why in Ohio, there's no such thing as assault and battery. Now, under common law, yes, the actual physical striking of someone, that was battery. And assault was threatening people. I don't know why that happened. Sorry. But when it comes to what your state does, the law, if you were to threaten somebody in Ohio, it's not assault because assault is actually attacking somebody. Okay, so what is it then? Well, you go back to homicide and assault, and you have menacing, aggravated menacing. And aggravated menacing in Ohio is no person shall knowingly cause another to believe that you'll cause serious physical harm to a person or property. So this is not uncommon. Some states call it, menacing. Some states, it's all, you name it differently, but it's the same things. So you have to be very careful about what you do and, what states you're in right now. How do you prefer to commit assaults? I don't. But I hope this explains what Spudgun you were saying here. You're asking. It all depends. For Ohio, assault and battery is not actually a crime. Assault is a crime. Menacing is a crime. If somebody, told, like if the police tried to arrest you for, like in Ohio, if you showed up at the jail and the police said, I'm booking this guy on battery. What's battery? Like there's sexual battery, but that's not, obviously not the same thing there. So it all depends on where you are, and everything is different. So it's legal if you shout aim, aim, aim first. Yes. That's what you have to do. Those are the magic words. Those are the magic words. Those are the magic words. Unforced ego for $20. Thank you. Saying, I bet even Bronco doesn't think this one is self-defense. I mean, I don't see anybody. I mean, could this guy make a defense and argue self-defense? Sure. Is it going to work? No, he doesn't look like he was in fear for his safety. No innocence, do all the provocation, plus he sticks around to talk shit, obviously not scared. Yeah, I would agree. He does not seem like a guy who's in fear for his personal safety. January 6th, 2.0 for $5 says, please do a show with Bronca, make the Baldo King seethe. Yeah, I'll reach out to Bronca at some point, see what he's up to. He's been slaying it right now with the content out there. I will say that much. He's been crushing it. Benjamin Lewis has been a member for 18 months. Thank you, Benjamin. Thank you for that support. Thank you for sticking around. Says the orphan rabbit is 7 days old today and eating well. Well, there you go. That's good news. That's some good stuff there. Make sure you take care of it. Give it a nice heat lamp. You'll definitely enjoy it. Another for $5. 3 peanuts walked down the street. 1 was assaulted. Yes. Oh, thank you for the super chat there. Thank you for the super chat there. Yeah, Bronco's been out west on his motorcycle, which, hey, sounds like a fun time. Be a fun way to do it. There are scenarios where the wheelchair guy could be the aggressor, but this ain't one of them. I agree. There's a lot of scenarios where this could happen, but not right now. Not right now. So, guy in a wheelchair doesn't meet the 20-foot rule unless he's in a Tesla. That's funny. That's funny. KRS says, is there ever a point where they just decide both sides were in the wrong and just wash their hands of it completely? There would be times, but you are in a Democrat county in a Democrat city, and somebody shot somebody. Not only that, it's a white guy shooting a black guy. There ain't no way they're just going to let this go. Like, it looks really bad. It's bad optics, and it's something they would be all about. So I don't see them just like ignoring it. I don't see them ignoring it. But it does happen sometimes if your witness is very unsavory, and you're, just as bad as your defendant. Happens all the time. Usually it's not in these types of like gun encounters or deadly force encounters, but like a bar fight or, for example, if A and B get into a bar fight and then it turns out, A punches B so hard it breaks his jaw, but we find out that B was groping A's, girlfriend, is on camera and would have committed a crime on his own, or he was causing problems everywhere. Yeah, there's times where that stuff happens, but generally when there's a shooting, you're not going to go to that. Matty G says, would you try to get a deal to avoid a trial? On this, not enough to know. Do I think that's the likely outcome? Yes, we do. That would be the goal. So that is kind of where we are. Now, speaking of the last super chat here, from another with Peanuts. You guys remember Peanut the Squirrel? If you guys don't, Peanut the Squirrel was killed by the New York Department of Environmental Conservation, their Department of Natural Resources. And Peanut was killed because of being basically an illegally owned squirrel. And if you guys don't remember Peanut here, this is poor little Peanut in all his glory. Rip to a real one, chat. Rip to the realist. So remember, Peanut was apprehended, and if you guys didn't, we're gonna get to this here. It's it was kind of the Harambe of 2024. You know, we had Harambe in 2016, and then in 2024 we had Peanut the Squirrel. So what happened? Well, Peanut the Squirrel's owner seeks $10 million over the death of his animal. And if you guys haven't seen it, this is Peanut's owner.
I just wanted to update all of you, but I would first like to say how grateful I am for all of the love and support. You guys have no idea how much you have gotten me through the day and a half of just torment and a nightmare. I can't believe what transpired yesterday. I'm going to leave the details out of it, but we have the understanding that the DEC will not tell us whether or not Peanut is alive or not. So I can't give you a definitive answer of whether or not he's still here with us. I hope we have an opportunity to take him back and continue this journey on starting a nonprofit in a squirrel's name. Starting this nonprofit has been a dream come true. Showing the life of a squirrel has been nothing but incredible, and I can't thank you all for the love and support. So please continue to check the GoFundMe out. Please donate if you can.
So anyways, that's his owner just talking about what happened. So Mark Longo and Daniela Bittner filed the lawsuit, and they claim that the Department of Environmental Conservation and the Department of Health were responsible for his death because they put him down last year. And what happened? Well, that this was a violation of New York's wildlife laws, but also a violation of the Fourth Amendment and their 14th Amendment rights. Now, I would argue there's also a Fifth Amendment takings issue here, but they didn't for some reason. Yeah. Now, what happened? The plaintiffs maintain that Peanut nor Fred were wild animals under the law, but were rather companion animals. And what happened? Well, the state wildlife agencies went after these guys. So right before the election, Peanut was taken away. It was really bad. So both animals lived inside the house, and New York law prohibits keeping squirrels and raccoons as pets because they're classified as wild animals. So what happened? It says, according to the lawsuit, the DEC, the wildlife agents, showed up along with other cops to execute a search warrant. Both animals were seized and later killed. And the environmental conservation guys say that Peanut bit through the leather gloves during the raid, prompting both of them to be euthanized and decapitated for rabies testing. The state confirmed that the tests were negative. So, and they claim that these weren't killed due to a fear of rabies, but a senseless act of violence and government abuse. And that wouldn't surprise me at all. Wouldn't surprise me at all. They claim that the seizure exceeded the scope of the warrant and requests for the remains have gone unanswered. So that is what we're doing here. But yes, touching on the Peanut thing, this is an interesting. It was interesting, and this is something that his attorneys filed, and it's a notice of intention to make a claim, and I guess is how you have to do it in New York. I'm not sure why, but it's how they do it. It's how they do it. If you guys don't know where this is at, it looks like it's up by Elmira, New York, in Chemung County. Of course, in New York, they have a county named Mung. That's what they are, is a bunch of Mung. So they are. This is just the attorneys naturing what's going on here. They're recovering damages for the illegal and improper killing of a squirrel known as Peanut and Fred the raccoon. Yes, they were both killed. They were both killed. They say it denied their claimants' rights to remain silent, the 4th, 14th, 5th, and First Amendment violations, and also various torts. So what are they talking about? Abuse of process, abuse of power, conspiracy, invasion of privacy, trespass, illegal detainment, false arrest, false imprisonment, malicious prosecution, conversion, meaning you've destroyed or you've taken something away from somebody. When I take something from you, that's conversion. You might say it's theft, yes. But it's conversion. And then when I take it and I destroy it, I've converted it. Replevin is the opportunity to retrieve property, theft of animals, the unlawful taking of property, the unlawful destruction of property, the unlawful taking of the beloved animals, the killing of the animals, unjustified killings, negligent hiring, retention, and supervision. All this stuff. They're going forward to say all of what's going here. So this is a notice, though, that they're going to go ahead and do this. They are going to go ahead and do this. Now, this is just a notice here, but they're also, this is going to be in federal court because you can see them talking about, and I forgot about reading this when I read this earlier, with respect to Manel. A Manel claim is a federal civil rights claim. And a Manel claim is that people were not properly trained and the organization did things that allowed to facilitate that issue. So a municipality or governmental agency is only liable for the actions of its employees. But this is saying their policies, practices, and customs were bad. And it's got to be so blatant that it happens here. And there's a pattern of failing to properly train. There's a policy of allowing excessive force. There's a policy of not investigating complaints. So there's a lot of ways to seek this under Manel, and I'm sure they're going to do other 1983 action. But those are going to be some of the theories they will sue under. And once that happens, that will be a fun one to read. That will be a fun one to read. HRE, what says this is over a tree rat? Yes. This is why Richard Gere fled to Spain. Oh my God. Behave, chat. Oh no. Oh no. No one would have cared if it was a pit bull. Well, yeah, well, there you go. I mean, that's true. I mean, let's not lie about it. Let's not lie about it. Coolio Top Notch is saying, "Rip in peace, Peanutty buddy." Very true. Very true. Benjamin 2000 says, "I'm going to leave you to a little joke. Mr. Mouse, I think you have failed to establish Miss Mouse's mental insanity. But Your Honor, I didn't say she was crazy. I said she was fucking goofy." But thank you, Benjamin. I appreciate that. For $10. Now, are they going to get 10 million? Are they going to get 10 million? No, they are not getting 10 million. Like, let's be real. That's not happening at all. That's not going to happen at all. JDK says it was a squirrel, not a gerbil. Okay, well, actually, I'm sure he'd put either of them up as keister. Yes, they did murder Peanut. Yes. And Eric, why didn't they just go to the woods and find another squirrel? Are they stupid? Well, Peanut was pretty well trained. Like, if you bring in a feral squirrel, people are going to notice right away. So it's not like you can just be like, oh, look, here's some, like, it's not like a kid's goldfish when it dies, you can put another one in there and the kid won't notice. And then Ego EXE says, nah, man, Peanut is chilling with Tupac. I mean, Tupac's in the hood with Master P chilling. So are you telling me that Peanut isn't dead? Because, you know, they say Tupac isn't dead either. T-Rex Travel says, everybody remembers Peanut the Squirrel, but nobody remembers Fred the Raccoon. Yes, the unsung fatality, the true victim in this that nobody even knows his name. But yes, Fred the Raccoon, also taken away from us way too soon. Thank you for the super chat. Over on Rumble real quick, Jody says, happy belated birthday, Sean. Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Shade Chaser over on Locals is saying, they were wild animals. He took them for the wild. He moved states knowing they were moving to a state where it was illegal to keep. Yeah, but why are we killing these animals like that? That's the problem here. It's the government overreach and the excessive government. But I understand your point. Yeah, it sounds like you should have known what you were doing before you came over. And then Maddie is saying that the squirrels wearing a cowboy hat are based. Very true. Very true. There's also like the water skiing squirrels. I don't know if you guys have ever seen those before. Those are pretty cool. Big Mac Orange says, he turned the squirrels gay. He turned the squirrels gay. Listen, globalists, you won't turn our squirrels gay. And then Eric says, did he have a license to own those wild animals? Yes. And then January 6 2.0 says, do you think the Peanut owner gay furry allegations are true? I've heard those, but I agree. They seem like gay ops on the feds to me, considering the election. I agree. It's meant to like discredit him and make him look bad. I think that's really true. I think that's ultimately the thing there. So until it's proven, I'm not gonna take their word for it. T-Rex Travels for $9.99. Going back to this here real quick. Thank you for $9.99. Says slightly off topic, but do you remember a few years ago when that guy got arrested for DUI for driving his motorized bar stool that he built in his garage? Yes. In a lot of states, if it's got a motor on it, it's going to be a DUI. If it's a bicycle, it could be a DUI. In Ohio, we have Amish. They get DUIs on their horses. Basically in Ohio, I think I remember I was talking to an attorney. We kind of figured it out. Unless you're on rollerblades, a unicycle, or using a wheelbarrow, those are like the only wheeled things you can't get a DUI on because you're not really riding them. So that's just kind of the limit there. But yes, it's be careful what you're driving around. Johan Naxos for $2 says they were so far apart he'd have to UPS the blade going back to the Seattle guys. Yeah, he would have to airmail that blade to the dude unless he was trained in the arts of like throwing knives. There's this guy here on YouTube. He's like in the Czech Republic. His name's Adam something or another. Dude throws knives all the time. Dude had cancer and he beat it. But the dude does a lot of knife throwing. It's actually pretty cool what he does. And then Grassroots Hegemon for $20 says, Mary Birthmas and Pet Clyde, buy a hat for your hat. Thank you. And speaking of that, real quick. Hey, Clyde. Come here, Bubba. Clyde. I don't think he's coming. He like 2.0's like, come on. And Clyde's like, he's looking up at her like, no, I am tired. Clyde, come here, Bubba. Oh, I hear click clacks. Come here, Bubby. I got your Clyde treats. He's all like sleepy. He's got bedhead. Come here, Clyde. Up. Clyde, hey. Come here, bud. Clyde, come here. Come here, Clyde. Clyde. Hey. Come here. What you doing? Hey. Come here. Are you going to come up? Oh, there you are. There we are, chat. We got a nice little Clyde intermission here for you guys. Oh, hi, Bubber Bear. You're such a good boy. Oh. And because of that, I got to give you your treat. It's part of the deal. Clyde the dog. You got anything you want to say? No? Okay. Well, real quick, chat. We do want to get to our show sponsors tonight. We've got the dragonstreasure.com. Use the promo code criminal for 10% off all your coffee, your tea, and your soaps. Once again, use them all, not in that order, and don't mix them together. Use them separately. But use your coffee, use your tea, use your soaps. Help the tea man. Help him maintaining to be based. Well, geez, Bubba. Help him be based at thedragonstreasure.com. Also, chat, go to maf-arms.com. Yes, chat. Matt LaRosier for Fudbusters, running MAF-Arms, MAF Corporation. Get yourself some wind chimes and wind chime accessories. Promo code POCCRIM gets you 10% off. And then, chat, we've also got Stoney's Bar and Grill. That's right, chat. Stoney's at 158 East Broadway Street in Rockville, Minnesota, chat. It's your place to go. I mean, what more can you do? They've got the Lee Basswood Memorial Ride Saturday morning starting at 10 a.m. It's $15. Cars are welcome, rain or shine. You start at Stoney's, you're going to end at Stoney's. So think about it if you're out in the area. Remember tonight, chat, it's the $2.50 cans. Willie's Sandwich Shack is out there. They were there from 4 to 8. And then the Joe Boys Poker Run is also going on this weekend. But chat, it's only now 9:30 Central Time. You have enough time to go down to Stoney's and crank your hog in front of everybody. I'm assuming it's a nice night out. If it is, go down there and crank your hog. Get it done. Clyde, I got to set you down, bubber. So I got to get some work done, okay? Mwah. Hey. Hey. All right. There you go, Bubba. There you go. But chat, Stoney's serving Central Minnesota as the premier biker bar. Let me tell you what. The patio is still going full speed. The garage is running full speed. What more can you ask for at Stoney's? Stacy's Elmira's on the PA border below the Finger Lakes. Okay. Did not know that. Is there a big difference between a 1983 and a Manel claim? Well, they are 1983 claims, but like there's different 1983 claims you can do. And the Manel claim is that the city is liable for the way they trained and governed their officers. So that's what the Manel claim is for. It's still a deprivation of civil rights. It's still a civil rights lawsuit, but you're suing the city under different theories of liability. And the Manel claim is just that the government created poor policies, set this all up, and caused it to happen. So I hope that makes sense to you. So let's see here. Wait, are we doing dad joke super chats now? I mean, if we have to, I'll take them, but I don't really like. There's other things we can do. That Turtle Boy hearing was wild. Yes, it was. The Turtle Boy hearing was very, very interesting at the end of the day. Yes, now it's Stoney's the Sean Martini. That'd be funny. Well, maybe Cheeto can make me a sandwich after me. Like beat off on the patio? I mean, you can. You can if you want to, I bet. I got to make that bullpen money for Clyde, yes. Why do you have a big Sig SAR sticker on your safe? I have one of those because I ended up with a Romeo red dot. So that's from a while ago. That's from years ago now, but it's still there. Yeah, I'm not taking it off because then I got to figure out what to put there. So we're going to leave that alone. But also you can see up in the corner, it says AIM Surplus. It's a company here in Ohio. But look, chat, I have AIM on my safe. All right, here, real quick. Yes, Johan, and this is correct. The reason why Peanut got arrested and like all this happened was another lady on TikTok dimed them out to the Department of Environmental Conservation. Because she had a squirrel, was less famous, and if it was gone, she would get more views. Yeah. Yep. It was all done for clout, chat. Just like the guy in Las Vegas who shot the dudes. I mean, the amount of shit people will do for internet clout is truly amazing. And it's really weird. It's really weird what they'll do for clout, but they will do it for clout. Then real quick, chat, one more here. Whiskey 77 for $50. Thank you for the support, by the way. Thank you for that. Thank you. A lawyer dies and stands at the pearly gates. That's already an issue. God says to enter, you must defend yourself. 2 change of venue motions, 4 motions to dismiss, 9 motions to suppress, and 4 motions for a Frank's hearing. And now he wants to know where to file his appeal. I mean, that's you got to do what you got to do, man. Got to defend yourself. But I can see a lawyer doing that. Fair Frozen 55. Good to see you, man. It's saying, I wish AIM Surplus sent shit to your IP location, Puerto Rico, but they don't. They have a good deal of surplus shit I want. Yeah, and that's the thing that sucks. If you happen to live, AIM is restrictive on the list of things and places it'll send stuff because they don't want to get sued. And they don't want to get sued by litigious attorney general's offices. But yeah, I can feel your pain there. It's I used to live about an hour away from it, and you know, the one thing I kind of want to go see if they have some of the crates that are still there, because they get all their shit in surplus crates. Like, you can build some neat stuff with those crates. So, but yeah, AIM Surplus is a good location to buy things from. Fair Frozen said, somebody saying try a freight forwarding service. I don't think they can do that. I don't think they will do that. I think AIM will be a little about that. It's stupid because they can ship to FFLs in Puerto Rico. Nothing they sell is illegal. And Tim Beatty's saying it's export licensing. Well, Puerto Rico's inside the United States, so it's not an ITAR thing. So, and Jabba Dunn says, "Oh, you don't mean accessories? No. There's some things that AIM will not do, which is kind of sad. It kind of sucks." All right, guys, moving on from there. Hold on here. We got to see, where are we at? All right, we're making some good time tonight. We are making some good time here. We are going to move on to Sarah Boone. And it's not about Sarah Boone, but it's her British cousin. It's her British cousin here. And it's very, 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 very interesting. So this is what happened here in England. A man dumped remains in suitcases, was found guilty of murder. When you look at this, it's pretty fucking interesting. So you can see this guy here. He's carrying him along. There's video of him.
This man is pulling one of two suitcases containing the remains.
It's containing the two adult men, the two guys he lived with, and they were at this bridge. And yeah, so the guys he killed were Paul Longworth and Albert Alfonso. And it's Justin Mosquera while he was staying at their apartment in Shepherd's Bush, London. He decapitated and dismembered them and froze parts of the remains and brought the rest of suitcases in Bristol. So, what can you see here? Yes, they, yeah. It's Cog's poor wife. It's Cog's poor wife. They must have shared a lot of mango. I'm sure they did. Yeah, and they wanted that Mandingo, and they kind of paid for it. They were obsessed with it. Unlike lots of them says, why would you go to Bristol with them? I don't know. So, yeah, one of these things is not like the other. So it took the jury over 5 hours to come back to guilty verdicts. They say that Mr. Alfonso enjoyed extreme sex, and Mosquera, as a Colombian national, was part of that world. The Colombian met the two men when he traveled to London to visit them in 2023. The same year, these guys became civil partners. Oh, wow. Imagine that. Imagine that. You know? Yeah, you bring in a bull and it kills you. So they later split up but remained close friends. When this guy was invited for London a second time, he stabbed Alonso to death during a film sex session. The footage shown in court showed him singing and dancing in the aftermath of the attack. And he said he had killed the other guy with a hammer earlier the same day, shattering his skull and head the body in a divan in the bed in the apartment. So he made a plan to dispose of the bodies by throwing suitcases off the bridge. But he said to misjudge his own strength, instead dumping the suitcases on the bridge. Okay, so he's like gonna pick him up, and he's like, "Oh, fuck this," and just leaves him. It's like, there's got to be a way to shove him off the edge or carry him around to the corner and just like dump him. But it's, you know, like here is the bridge itself. Like, you got to be able to go around to the edges of it and throw shit off the side. Like, there's got to be a way to do that. So I don't know. So he claimed that he did it, but it was manslaughter by loss of control. He feared for his life and thought he was going to be killed when he stabbed him. Yes, he also claimed that threats had been made to his family in Colombia. I'm sure they were. And the judge said, "I'm not going to pass sentence on you today. Although the only one I can pass on you is life imprisonment." So there you go. So yeah, anyways, there you go, guys. Be careful. Be careful about the bulls. Be careful about the bulls, man. They are dangerous. But yeah, Sarah, it's like a crossover event here, guys. It's like, it's like a kit bash. We got a little bit of everything. We got some Latin American lovers, and we got some suitcases. Yes, and Ego's saying, fuck, even the bulls are weak in the UK. Yes. They got caught in the suicide nets? Oh, that would be funny. So he traveled with leaking suitcases from London to Bristol, a few hundred miles. And that's the thing, yeah. He got all the way from, he got pretty far. Surprisingly, chat. He got pretty far. You guys don't know the scope of how far he went. Let me see if I can back out far enough here. So this is London. This is London where all the Pakistanis live, and then here's Bristol. And that's a long distance. It's from the center of London, measure distance to Bristol. It's 100 miles. For Britain, that's a long way. And it's probably even longer because he didn't take a straight route there. But over 100 miles, hauling suitcases full of bodies. And you're just like, what? How did that work? He missed arm day for thrust. Yeah. So, one big happy Boone family. I know. Do you think those guys are going to write each other? Do you think they're going to write each other? I think that'd be kind of funny. Like they'll become, we should get them to interface because they're both going to do life. So like they can share luggage things. Shredder says, how are you feeling on a scale from 1 to after show? Like, no after show. I'm still not feeling that awesome. So, Fair Frozen 55 says Kate Nicholas from outer space. Yes. It's also like the black lady who had the 2 kids, and the suitcase too. Yeah, we watched that body cam. That was some grisly stuff. Yes, don't bring Hito home. What happens at Hito should stay at Hito. Yeah, it's about 100 miles. Geo-Sean is back. Well, yeah, we have to. 100 miles, that's it. Well, for Britain, that's a long way. That's the length of Puerto Rico. Yeah, roughly. Is it? Yeah, it is about 100 miles long, Puerto Rico. Criminals get so lazy at the end of the day, at the end of the deed. They do. It's not uncommon at all. Your adrenaline's gone. Like a lot of criminals get lazy, like right at the end. That's not the first time I've seen that. So, see, both Sarah Boone and this guy recorded their crimes on video. Yes, they did. So, all right, guys, moving on from there. Hold on, I gotta cancel out some stuff. We need to fix some things. Okay, yes, this is one we're gonna get to now. The United Healthcare CEO who got murdered by Luigi Mangione at the end of the year last year. Well, another guy got charged with stalking his family, and harassing them. So a guy in New York State got accused of, and we're gonna get to what he did here, but it's like, whoa, buddy. He got arrested for sending harassing and threatening voicemails to a family member, and I believe it's the widow. But he did a series of voicemails, and it was right. Now, what happened? This happened almost right away. It happened almost right away from the shooting. And this one here, guys, it's just like, if you're going to troll and live out your communist fantasies, suffer commie, suffer. So they say that from December 4th to about December 7th, this guy violated cyber stalking as a federal offense. Why did they just do this under New York law? Well, because the feds are involved and you caught the attention of the feds. So should this have been charged here? I don't think so. But when the feds are already involved in a case, don't fuck around with it like that. You're gonna get in trouble. You're gonna get in trouble. I mean, the eye of Sauron for the federal government is on this case right now, and then, it should be a matter of time. But this is why you don't fuck around with these things. So I do love how this judge has a signature and then the date. It's like, ugh. It's like awful handwriting. So now this guy we're not really worried about this guy, Thomas Ford. He's an FBI agent, blah, 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 blah. So he learned that on December 4th at approximately 6:45 a.m., Brian Thompson, the CEO of United Healthcare, was shot and killed as he walked down the street in Midtown Manhattan. And that was done by Luigi Mangione. And that's already happened. And guys, remember, he's already been indicted with federal offenses in connection with the murder. So he's already in trouble. So based on my participation in the investigation with members of Thompson's family, victim one, I think that's his wife, I learned that victim one is a resident of Minnesota and employed at a company outside of New York State. And then from December 4th through December 7th, a mail caller placed a series of phone calls to victim's phone line at company one. The mail caller left 4 messages directed at victim one. The tone were threatening and caused her to fear her safety, which, yeah, when your husband gets smoked and people start calling like fucking loons, this is going to happen. So here's what happens. So based on obtaining information from company one and victim one, I have learned, among other things, the following. Company one maintains records of incoming calls in which a caller leaves a voicemail message. And it retains the message on its recording system for a period of time that they're received. Company one's records indicate a phone with a phone number with the digits 2904 left 4 voicemail messages on a dedicated internal line used exclusively by victim one. So notice that's a very interesting thing. It's a dedicated internal line used only for her. So this idea he could say, I didn't know who I was talking to. That's their way of saying, no, he knew what he was doing. So he called like 12 hours later, basically to talk shit. And then 13 hours later, and then on December 7th, he talked again. So he expressed glee about Thompson's death. And the caller also said that her and her children deserved a similar fate. Well, you want to, just like the sandwich guy, you guys want to be revolutionary fucking communist. You want to be La Revolucion? Here's what happens when you're La Revolucion. Yeah, 2 of these are less than 3 minutes apart. Yep. Smog and Mox says, how do you get the number? That stuff got out there very quickly. That stuff is out there very, very quickly. Trust me, that wasn't an issue. That stuff leaked very quick. So it says a 7:45 message. It goes, yeah? Your family member, and it's, I think, your husband, got lit the fuck up because he's a fucking asshole? Profiting off the fucking... He's not profiting off fucking. He's not a porn guy. Off the backs of poor Americans. This shit is going to keep happening to you fucking pricks. Fuck you! And then then less than 3 minutes later, he goes, fuck you, you fucking cunt! Make sure you tell your fucking retarded ass kids that their dad died because he was a fucking capitalist pig. 10.2 million a year, fucking insider trading bullshit. Making a fucking living off the backs of poor Americans. You all deserve to fucking die and burn in hell. Fuck you, fuck your fucking kids. Fucking sofa. And then later that night, an hour later, he goes, fuck you, bitch. Oh, we're shattered to hear about the senseless killing of our beloved Brian. Brian was an incredibly loving, generous, and talented man who truly lived life to the fullest and touched so many lives. And that was from the public statement. He goes, fuck you, Ree. Your husband was a prick, and you're a fucking cunt, and I hope you suffer as much as humanly possible. You stupid bitch. It's rough on my voice doing the fucking castrati thing. You deserve to die for begging. You deserve to die begging for your life on the cold concrete. Just like your pathetic fucking pussy of a husband. Fuck you, Ree. And then later, a couple days later, fuck you, you fucking cunt. I hope your fucking family suffers as much fucking as humanly possible. Your husband was a fucking douchebag and he deserved to fucking die. Fuck you. Oh, wow. Yes. He did not also include, you are absolutely bullshit lying. Fuck off. So, but yes, he could have included that too. Why do I sound like Hassan? It is what it is. So the company one's records show that Daly Shane, and means Shane Daly, was a call associated with the voice messages. Additionally, based off information obtained from AT&T for call records related to the phone, which they subpoenaed, my review of law enforcement reports and my conversations, I've learned other things. The subscriber to the 2904 phone number is Shane E. Daly, with a listed address in Galway, New York. That is the same as Daly's address in law enforcement databases linked to the DMV. You know, this was a pretty easy thing for them to put together. And they say that ultimately he placed 9 phone calls to the phone line. The times and dates of 4 of the 9 calls correspond to dates and times reflecting the internal records and the dates and times of the voicemails. And it says, during the investigation, the FBI obtained a search and seizure warrant for GPS location data, which they have to get a warrant for GPS data associated with the phone. That GPS data places the phone at or near the Daly residence during each of the times of voice messages were left on the phone, as well as each of the additional calls placed that did not result in a voicemail. Dumb motherfucker. Remember, guys, this is a tattle machine. Gotta use burners. So they ended up getting a warrant authorizing the search of the person for the phone and seizure of the phone itself. This happened in July. On July 30th, they stopped him near the residence and executed the warrant by seizing the phone. Based on my verbal action with him, I recognized Daly's voice as the same voice from the voicemails. When asked, Daly initially denied placing them. However, when questioned specifically about the December timeframe, Daly asserted he had been drinking during that period and conceded it was possible he made such calls. Do not talk to the cops, but also suffer, you commie shitheel. Daly also informed me he was the sole user of the phone. So they charge him with cyber stalking. Don't be a fucking idiot. Don't be a fucking idiot. Doom wanted to get caught so he could be a martyr. Sure. Yes. Don't use your real name as an alias. Well, that's also true as well. So, of course he has a criminal record. He should have spoofed his number. Well, yeah, but that's... These people are stupid. They didn't use a burner phone. I don't know what they didn't do right. Now would be the time to use the Luigi voice. Yes. Yahoo! Oh. Yahoo! It's me, Mario. And Luigi's a little deeper, and he's like, Yahoo! I think, roughly. Even if you spoof your number and the FBI gets involved, they'll still find you if they're motivated enough. Yeah, there's a lot you have to do. But there are ways to maintain invisibility, chat. But you have to put in a lot of work to hide. You have to come up with some plans. You have to come up with some plans. And there's ways to come up with plans. There's ways not to come up with plans. And this is not a way to come up with plans. All right, chat. All right. Real quick, this is something I know we had talked about a little bit. Out in Arkansas, this guy, if you haven't seen him before, look at this dude. Look at this dude. He's accused of murdering a husband and wife out in the woods. And his name is Andrew James McGann. He's charged with killing Clinton Brink and his wife while they were at a park with their kids. And what happened is Andrew started stabbing the husband, and then the wife got the kids away, and she went to go back to help, and then he killed her. It's not really clear why he did it, but yeah, he did it at a place called the Devil's Den, which is kind of fitting, I guess, when you're going to act like a fucking psychopath. But he ended up pleading not guilty to stabbing them, and he is also not guilty to capital murder charges. So Arkansas is looking to go after this guy all the way. Yeah, they had 2 little girls, and those little girls had to watch their dad die. So yeah, he probably wanted to grab the girls. I don't doubt it. I think that's probably what happened. What the hell was she going to do to help? It's your husband. I mean, it's your person. I don't blame her for wanting to go help and protect him. love is love, man. So anyway, he's a former teacher, and yeah, he's been arrested. He's got the public defender representing him, and the court, when they did everything, for his arraignment, there's also a gag order, but it's not a gag order like in the not like the Aaron Spencer case. It's not a retarded gag order. So what happens here? Well, the trial's set for November 14th. I don't know if that's going to go forward then. I would love to see this trial because I want to know what the hell this guy's defense was. I really want to know. So, yeah, well, stay strapped or get clapped. Correct. And she was an ER nurse. Yeah, I'm sure she went to go back to try to save his life. So, Joe Schmo says this guy has had pedo whispers following him around for years. Wouldn't surprise me. But anyways, the prosecutor said that the court may issue a gag order because of the notoriety. But notice after the Aaron Spencer case, it's not going to be retarded. Remember, so like they talk about, we're probably going to have a gag order on this. And they've said that basically we released everything we're going to give you. The prosecutor has said that. Like everything that you've gotten is what you're going to get. So there's nothing else you're going to get before trial. So that's ultimately what's going to happen there. It's going to be very interesting to see this guy's case. And you live about 20 minutes from the courthouse. Okay. Maybe you can film it for us. Yes, he was fired for being creepy. Yes, this guy is fucking creeper material. So they talk about that other parents were starting to tell me that McGann was having special lunches during the lunch break where all the kids would go to the cafeteria, but he would ask some special girls to stay in his classroom and have lunch with him, which was weird. Other moms alleged he had encouraged some girls to sit in his lap. They also claim that he would give them candy and other prizes to female students, and he loves to play tag. And he played tag at recess every day with the girls. But yes, this guy seemed to be an itinerant teacher. He had taught in Texas, and then he taught in Oklahoma. But they claim that an internal investigation did not find any evidence of inappropriate behavior. And that's just the school district trying to hide their ass at this point. Because they know he was fucking creepy. Yes, wood chipper. Is he a Nick Fuentes follower? Oh yeah, probably. Sweet Tooth Fairy says, I doubt it's the first time he's done this. The murder, probably is the first time he's done a murder, but I'm sure he's diddled a lot of kids. That's true. Chugi Show for $1.99 says, Sean can't stream chat. It's private and personal. Ag Biochemist says, we really have some massive fuck-ups at elementary schools these days. Not a surprise at all. It's really sad. Really fucking sad what's happened there. So just be careful out there, you guys. Be careful out there. You run into fucking weirdos all over the place. Hold on, chat. I need to consolidate down some. I thought I had a ton more things, and I'm like, wait, I don't have as many as I thought. All right. And then moving on to another shooting that we had been covering when it happened. You guys remember a guy named Ezekiel Kelly? Ezekiel Kelly was a guy in Memphis who is famous for driving around Memphis and fucking shooting people and filming it. And he walked into a AutoZone and with a Glock with a switchy, chat. And I'm not joking, the switchies, like he did it.
Switchy. No talk. No cat. No talk.
So anyways, he comes in with this switchy and just
get out on wagon shit on camera. I pull up and do this shit, man. I don't do what them niggas say, no faking. Yeah, man, this shit for real.
Works. I don't need YouTube up my asshole about that. But he killed a guy at that store. He killed a guy in his hood. And then he was just driving down the road, just everywhere he fucking went. Everywhere he fucking went through Memphis. He was a one-man army, chat. He was a one-man army. So he was a one-man army. And should have listened to Dilbert. Yeah. That's Queen's Ferry saying, oh my God. Yeah, we covered this when it happened live. He was driving around town just smoking people. Did he lose his mind? They were random victims? Yeah. He just walked into an auto zone and brrr, he was driving down the road and just brrr, he was just shooting everybody. It was in Memphis, so it's kind of normal. It's kind of normal there. Well, anyway, he ended up entering a plea and ended up getting convicted.
So let's talk.
And I just bring this up because this is something we had watched when it happened. He was set to go to trial, and I was looking forward to it. But he was in court today, and yeah.
For the first time, Ezekiel Kelly displayed emotion during his guilty plea. He will be serving 3 life sentences on top of 221 years in prison.
You can't see yourself. You have lost yourself. Only way you can find yourself is through God.
It was this message from Aubrey Miller, the brother-in-law of Richard Clark, one of the victims in the 2022 shooting spree across Memphis caused by Ezekiel Kelly. Reality set in for Kelly, and tears began to fall.
I acknowledge that there's nothing I can say to him. He did it for the victim family. But I believe that it's all about where do I go from here. That's the satanic move that you want to go out there to do something wrong. But talk to him. Talk to him. Talk to the Lord.
Kelly pleaded guilty to all 28 counts. As part of his plea agreement, he received 3 life sentences with no parole, in addition to 221 years in prison. This is for the mass shooting he was involved in back in 2022, taking the lives of 3 people during a shooting spree while live on social media. As Kelly took the stand, he asked the victims' families and anyone he's hurt for forgiveness.
I also do feel apology, but I know this is not enough. It's not enough for the victim family. I hope one day in y'all life, y'all come to the point where y'all find in y'all heart, forgive me.
Shelby County District Attorney Steve Milroy believes this plea deal represents.
So what do? They dropped the death penalty for him, and they got him to plea out, and the victims and their families were okay with it. But yeah, it was an interesting one when it happened, and I was like, damn! Like, we watched it live. Yeah. Peanut says the largest FedEx facility in the U.S. is in Memphis. It's actually an Olive Branch. It's actually an Olive Branch, I think, the one you're talking about. And that's across the river. And then Debbie O says the defendant was crying. Give me a break. Yeah, well, I'm sure his tears were hollow, but some of the families wanted to give him forgiveness. Also, Debbie, I did want to say I saw you sent me something on Venmo. Thank you very much for your support. I really do appreciate it. It told me today that happened, so I'll send you a note back. But I just wanted you to know I saw that. So thank you very much. Say, can anyone speak proper English? Yeah, the largest Popeyes in the country is in Memphis. Well, I couldn't see that. Yeah, Olive Branch is in Mississippi. Yeah. Debbie says, happy birthday. Well, thank you very much. And yeah, Debbie O for $100. Thank you, Debbie. Hold on. What? Also, chat 2.0 and my mom. Which one of you guys is the one that does all the quilt stuff? Because I was talking to my mom about it, and my mom's like, oh, depending on what you have, she might be very interested. So I don't know if it's you, Debbie, or one of the other people in chat, but my mom's like, find out what they have. And I want to, she's like, she might be interested. So if that was you, Debbie, or whoever it was, email me so I can help you. My mom may be very interested in what you guys have. So thank you. We lived in South Memphis when I was a little kid in Hernando, Mississippi. Just footsteps of Ethan Ralph. But not either of the kinds 2.0 told me she liked. Well, Debbie, I gotta double check with my mom, but I'll double check because she was like, ooh. So, anyways. Yeah, as long as it's cotton fabric, she wants it. Yeah, I think. Stacy says, buy your mom an embroidery machine. Those are like $10,000. No, here's the other thing. If I buy something like my dad will probably divorce my mom. Like, part of the deal is she's not allowed to like accumulate all kinds of shit down in Florida. So, having an embroidery machine, there's no place to put it. So my mom is happy enough just to mail out her quilts to get embroidered. Yeah. Hella is saying, hello, Hella, friend of the show, excited utterance. Says it costs on average $1 million more to pursue the death penalty than it does to house an inmate for LWOP. Yep, it does. But sometimes you need to do it. Sometimes you need to do it. My cat's name is Karen. Says I have at least 10 major hobbies going right now. So do I. So do I. I think we all do. I think we all do. It's what Elvis does to a city. Yeah. Yes. Just Cause says fatherless behavior confirmed. Yes. And then Pepsi Man says they were walking in Memphis. Do you really feel the way I feel? You know, if they had only put on their blue suede shoes when they boarded the planes, and if they had touched down in the land of the Delta Blues in the middle of the pouring rain, they might have survived. But they were walking around on a nice sunny day and they got clipped. So yeah, be careful out there, chat. Be careful. Roosevelt Media News for $5 says happy birthday. Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. You have an SR-71 model tomorrow. You're hyped. Ooh, that'll be fun. Now you just have to buy the book Sled Driver and find one that's not $1,000 a piece. That's what you have to do right now. E Director says, when are you going to pick up ham radio? At some point, maybe I will. I have to take the test. So I can't read, so no problem there. Sled Driver is a coffee table book full of base pictures. And Sled Driver was written by it was authored by an SR-71 pilot. And because they called it a sled. They called it the sled. But they only made a limited run of Sled Driver, so it's like a very expensive book to find. If you can find it for cheap, go for it. I've seen it before. It's very based. The pictures this guy has were so cool in it. All right, so where are we at here to do? All right, chat. We are moving on. We got to hold on here. I thought I got rid of some of this stuff. Okay. An update in the Alex Jones saga. An update on the Alex Jones saga. You guys remember Alex Jones was battling back in federal bankruptcy court over things? Well, we have a case of what's happening in state court here. And this is a post-judgment turnover and appointment of receiver for some of Alex Jones's stuff. Now, how's this going to work? I think his bankruptcy case is still proceeding. So remember, this doesn't get to do whatever they want. The federal bankruptcy court has a lot of power. So they talk about this court as jurisdiction over the proceedings and granting the relief set forth. And they talk about the judgment that was rendered in the Judicial District of Fairfield in Bridgeport, Connecticut. Is valid, final, and payable. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. The judgment of Judgment Debtor Free Speech Systems, LLC, owes jointly and severally $1.288 million. That's right, chat. You see, that's 3 commas. $1 billion. Boeing never paid that much for making a plane that killed people. Under the Connecticut family's judgment, there have been no applicable credit payments or offsets. So what happens here? Well, the court has to make findings that the judgment is comprised of 7 documents: the jury verdict, the trial court's ruling on damages, the Connecticut Sandy Hook family's motions, the order granting the motion for recertification, the Court of Appeals opinion, and the appellate court's receipt, as well as the Supreme Court's denial of review. And the act has been domesticated under the uniform enforcement of foreign judgments. Now, why does it say foreign? Well, foreign means outside of the state of Texas. I said million. Oh, okay. I said billion. Yes, is that billion or the B? Yes. 1.288 billion. So how is that not ruled as excessive? Because Alex Jones is not popular. And they wanted to stick it to him. That's why. That's why. Because he's Alex Jones. Because he's Alexander Emmerich Jones. And he says he filed for bankruptcy under Chapter 11 on December 2nd, 2022. And the case is pending right now. On October 9th, 2023, the bankruptcy court entered a final order determining that 1.115 billion of the judgment was non-dischargeable in bankruptcy. You're reading that right, chat. Almost all of it is non-dischargeable. And they say, of this amount pursuant to the appellate court's opinion that partially amended the original judgment, 965 million would be non-dischargeable. So in March of 2025, the bankruptcy court denied the motion to reconsider. And it says, following a hearing in 2024, the bankruptcy court converted it from a Chapter 11 to a Chapter 7. They ended up doing a chapter bankruptcy estate, Chapter 7. So what do? The judgment's unsatisfied. There is property that is not exempt from attachment, execution, or seizure. And because of that, they're allowed to move forward. So they keep moving here, and they say, accordingly, the application only seeks relief to the current of the following. And this is where they're talking about what was actually in the bankruptcy court filings. As to judgment of debtor free speech systems, all its assets subject only to approval of the trustee. So they talk about the turnover properties, all additional and specific property of any kind covered by the ordering paragraphs below. And the creditors reserve all rights to execute upon the judgment in accordance with any development in any proceeding pertaining to the judgment creditor. Meaning they're allowed to do whatever the hell they want to secure their judgment. So. Now from here, chat, this is the globalist coming. I mean, really, because he's Alex Jones is why they shit on him. The court also finds the judgment is final and remains unpaid. I hope they never get a fucking dime. These fucking cocksuckers out of Connecticut. Based on the entire record, the court finds the application should be granted. So therefore, they have appointed a Harvey Partners as receiver, and with the authority to take possession of all the property, sell the property, and pay the creditors to the extent required. And it says the property may include financial accounts, certificates of deposit, crypto, money market accounts held by a third party. Notwithstanding anything in this order, they can do whatever they need to there. They can take any action that would be inconsistent with the pending bankruptcy case. You can't do anything. So the court's just saying, do whatever you have to, but don't violate it. Including seeking any relief with respect to the assets that are part of the Chapter 7 estate. So here's how this works. You have the receiver's information. They talk about here the entry of this order creates a receivership estate where all the turnover property will be held in custodio legis by the receivership as of the date of this order. So the receiver may decline to collect or abandon any property to be burdensome, cumbersome, or of de minimis, meaning no real value. So if they go in there and they find Alex Jones's collection of Dale Earnhardt plates that are owned by Free Speech Systems, that is not something, it's like, that's not worth anything. That is not at all anything there. So he has the custody of all these things here. He has legal custody of all this. And the receiver is authorized to raise any issue with the court and meet in camera without notice and to file any motions that are deemed appropriate. So what happens? Well, within 5 days, the debtor shall turn over to the receiver all property, including all documents, within 5 days of the judgment creditor's service of this order or its counsel. And it says all third parties in possession of turnover property have to turn it over. And the turnover by the debtor shall include the following documents for the period of at least the preceding 48 months from the date of this order: canceled checks, bank statements, bank books, federal income and state tax returns, life insurance policies, all motor vehicle certificates, stock certificates, promissory notes, bills of sale, real property and deeds of trust, business journals, ledgers, accounts payable, pledges, security agreements, sales tax reports, any other record or document evidencing ownership of real property, or to any debt or money that's out there. Because Alex Jones may own a promissory note to somebody else. Trust documents for which the debtors are a beneficiary. Notice this is a catch-all. It's not saying they have these. All personal property returns filed with any taxing authority, credit applications, cryptocurrency wallets, all documents listing summarized property owned by Alex Jones, regardless of date. And they have to continue to immediately turn over this property when received until all amounts due under the judgment in this order are paid in full. So the receiver has the authority to take possession of all this property, sell it, and pay the proceeds. Now, this just goes through everything he had to do, and this is going to be the liquidation of Free Speech Systems LLC's, estate. It's going to be liquidated. And they say that the judgment debtor, meaning Free Speech Systems LLC and its directors, officers, members, management, are enjoined not to take any action to sell, encumber, dispose of, waste, or retain or exercise control over the assets except as provided here. And for law enforcement, any sheriff, constable, or officer of the law shall assist the receiver in carrying out his duties in acquiring property and sales of real property. They say any sale of real property requires approval by this court. So if you sell any land, the court has to approve it. And after notice and opportunity, because not only been provided to the debtor, so Alex Jones's Free Speech Systems LLC, but you have to worry about lien holders. So if there's a mortgage holder on that property, or if there's other people who might have liens on the property, they have the right to get involved. They have the right to get involved. Because remember, their stuff would precede. Some of you are saying, well, can they take his stuff? All that's here, it's Alex Emmerich Jones and Free Speech Systems. So, yeah, they can go after what they can. Although Texas has a homestead statute. And what is Texas homestead statute? So in Texas, your urban households, if you're located there, your house is exempt. So like they can't take your house from you. And if you're out in a rural area, if you have a family, you have 200 acres exempt under Texas law, meaning they can't take it. But yes, they can ask for other items and things that Alex Jones owns to take money from him. Although, from what I understand, Alex Jones probably has all that stuff sheltered away and hidden in other things. So, how is this not overreaching? It was. The case was an overreach, but the Texas court has to, through the full faith and credit, respect the judgment. So, they aren't going to get the $1 billion, I know, and they could fuck themselves for that. Roosevelt Media, you're saying bankruptcy laws not allow you to take what is necessary for the person to live, such as your house. Well, it's not bankruptcy court. Remember, this is state court. So Texas law controls, and Texas has a homestead statute, meaning they protect your assets. In Florida, it's basically unlimited. And that's why O.J. Simpson, after the after the not guilty verdict, he moved to Florida and bought a big old house with a ton of money because the Goldmans couldn't take the house. That was a big fuck you there. Alex Jones converted a lot of cash to Clyde coin. I don't know about that. Do you think Alex Jones would do that? He'd be like, listen here, globalist. You don't understand. This guy, Clyde, he's the cutest little dog ever. You have to buy Clyde coin, Chad. It's going to the moon. So that is, this is just an example of what happens here, though, guys. As this stuff unfolds, as these cases run through. Roosevelt Media says Alex Jones filed bankruptcy. Everything has to go through not everything. The court even here acknowledges that a bunch of this is not dischargeable through bankruptcy. So that's why they're moving now. Remember, this part here, 1.15 billion is non-dischargeable, meaning they can go collect. Now they're going to have to fight over stuff protected by the bankruptcy court, sure, but there's other stuff that's not protected by the Chapter 7 bankruptcy that they're going to be allowed to take. So not everything is going to be protected. A lot of it is, and we'll see. So as this goes on here, the receiver gets his fee for doing it. They say his expenses. He can apply for expenses here. He's already able to do up to $20,000 is the cap. He can raise the cap either without further of the court or upon written agreement or with court approval. He can employ professionals, including collection agents, attorneys, financial advisors, accountants, brokers, auctioneers, independent contractors, specialists, like if it's all a bunch of antiques to evaluate things, what they do there. So that is how they go through this. That's what's going to happen here for Alex Jones. Signed yesterday. So, who, buddy? Is the big InfoWars truck gone? Probably. But Alex Jones will start a new LLC and just keep going. So, yeah, no more Alex Jones NRAP. Yeah. Clyde endorses super male vitality. Oh, is bankruptcy a state or federal issue? Bankruptcy itself is a federal issue. Bankruptcy itself is a federal issue. That's why federal court, the most powerful person in America, is a bankruptcy trustee. I mean, they can basically do whatever the fuck they want. Now, that said, there's still some state actions going here. And if there's stuff that falls outside of the bankruptcy, because some of it will, the Sandy Hook families could go ahead and gobble it up because they're pieces of shit. Missouri Battleflash says, check out the Russian ham radios. They have the best one. It's like $350. Maybe I will at some point. Big Mac Orange says the iodine Alex Jones sells is actually pretty good quality, high quality iodine. As long as you're not doing that methylene blue, which is basically like the layout fluid, don't drink that. Johan Noxos gifting 10 subs. Let's fucking go, chat. Let's get another one. Get another one. There we go. We got some woos out there tonight. Thank you, Johan, for your support, your generosity. Kathy, your realtor in New Jersey, guys, remember, if you're looking for a realtor in New Jersey to buy, sell, rent, lease, whatever, Kathy's your person. What did he say about them? They claim he said it was a hoax and that they were crisis actors. He didn't say any of that shit. So fuck them. Fuck them. Fuck them and their... Fuck those people. I have no sympathy for them. Remember, this was also the case where the FBI agent got to fucking... Remember, that was also the case where the FBI agent came in and cried and said, "This made fun of me too. I was an FBI agent at the scene and it was so sad." And he got in on the fucking money train too. So it was a bunch of bullshit. It was a bunch of bullshit, Chad. It was a bunch of bullshit. Drive Me Closer says, so what happens when he's left with nothing? Do they just put him in chains and send him to the fields? Well, no, I mean, he gets to keep like a bunch of his stuff. But yeah, their goal is to impoverish him. Now, at the end of the day, Alex Jones could go start up new businesses and they'll try to attach it and go after those. But yeah, their goal is to bankrupt him and crush him because they're faggots. Graxos, good to see you, saying Free Speech LLC should sell everything on the cheap to his new LLC. Well, you can't. The receiver has it now. And also for what the receiver doesn't get, the trustee has custody over. So they have to sell it for top dollar. So you can't do that. You can't shelter assets like that. It's a bad idea. Don't do it. Excuse me, chat. Sorry. They're similarly positioned in alternative health treatments. Yes, they are. Yes. Yes, Alex Jones was defaulted to. He didn't even lose on the merits. Yeah, that was the problem. They, he gave them everything and the court still fucked him over, which was a lot of horse shit. So, was a lot of horse shit, chat. A lot of horse shit that happened to Alex Jones. All right. Now, moving on from there, you guys, we are going to address the online safety acts that are starting to percolate their way through, not only in the UK, but here in America. They've already been going, but there was one recently in Louisiana that got filed, went to the Supreme Court, and you know, it once again, any of the stuff where you have to provide ID to use the internet is bullshit. Run away from it. Oppose it with all your might. Because if you have to use your ID to get on the internet, you will be tracked. And then there will be no more anonymity. That includes you guys here in chat. All of you here in chat. That's what would happen. So what happened, and most importantly here. So NetChoice LLC was going after the state of Mississippi for their law that was about to go into effect. And it's very interesting what Kavanaugh did here. And this is the Supreme Court of the United States. This is a application to vacate the stay was presented to Alito and referred to him by the court, and it's denied. So Justice Kavanaugh did his own concurrence here, and he says, I concur with the court's denial for interim relief because NetChoice has not sufficiently demonstrated the balance of harms and equities favored at this time. And he says, to be clear, NetChoice has, in my view, demonstrated that it is likely to succeed on the merits, namely that the law, Mississippi's law, would violate its members' First Amendment rights under other precedent. So Moody versus NetChoice, Brown versus Entertainment Merchants, and then Free Speech Coalition versus Paxton. They say, given those precedents, it's no surprise the district court in this case enjoined enforcement of the Mississippi law and that 7 other federal district courts have likewise enjoined enforcement of similar laws. In Mississippi, there was another one done. In Ohio, we had that happen, based in Texas, but Texas has went into effect. Utah, California, and Arkansas. He says, in short, under this court's case law as it currently stands, the law is likely unconstitutional. Nonetheless, because they haven't sufficiently demonstrated the balance of harms at this time, I concur denial is the appropriate application, meaning this is going to have to appeal itself all the way through the courts. So, yeah. Not a good look, chat. Not a good look from the Supreme Court, but yeah. It is what it is right there. There are other things that have happened, though, going over to the UK, which has done its Online Safety Act, where you do have to provide ID. Wikipedia lost a challenge against Online Safety Act verification rules. So Wikipedia lost a challenge to the Online Safety Act. And, you know, it's rough because you have to deal with Ofcom, and Ofcom is the organization in charge of making sure everything is safe on the internet in Britain. It says the government's obviously happy. It will help us continue making a safer online world for everyone. And which is bullshit. The government, you know, when they say the government made regulations covering sites would be classed as category 1. The strictest rules sites must follow. But yeah, here's the problem. And if it's a category 1, it would mean I have to verify the identity of its contributors, undermining their safety and privacy. So what happened? Well, this is all being done to silence speech and chill speech. There are some funny things, though. It says, have you got your license, mate, for Wikipedia? Now, as far as this Ofcom thing, though, if you guys didn't know, I mean, it's getting everywhere. It's happening everywhere. It's happening on Xbox. Like, it's doing everything. It's doing everything. It's happening everywhere. And a good, you know, thing to think about here is it's just, you know, not only that, but we also have the farms jumping in through the internet, the United States Internet Preservation Society. And what happened? Well, and Null has pointed this out. If you're accessing this website from the UK, this is not a good idea. The Office of Communications wrote us demanding from us a plan to implement the Orwellian Safety Act. And it says that they assert authority over any website which has a significant number of UK users, which there are. And basically, that means like anything they're going to try to assert authority over. And yes, I agree. It's so dire. If you're in the UK, be very fucking careful what you do. It's very dangerous. And notice, Null brings up a great point. In the past, the sable rattling wasn't a big deal. And that was thanks to Cloudflare. And half of all websites use Cloudflare, which means they share IPs. Governments can always see what IP you're connecting to, but Cloudflare obscured which website. And it says, without Cloudflare, surveillance states like the UK could see where you're connecting, which may be enough for innocent people to incur serious issues with their government. You are in a speech-hostile country. Protect yourself. And here's what you do if you're from the UK. You're going to have to use some VPNs. And you got to be careful about using your VPNs. They're a complicated subject, and make your own things. And once you have VPN, get outside the UK. You can use Tor. You're going to have to figure out how to do it if you're in the UK. But there's a lot of things out there. It's rough. Be very careful. Be very careful out there if you are from the UK. They are going to come after you for stuff. Now, it is funny. There are people who are responding back, and I think this is great. So this is a person here who is helping make fake driver's licenses. And it's saying, shall we see what your local MP's driving license might look like? And, you can find out what their license looks like, and you can start using it. And, if you have all this information, guess what? I signed up for it. Keir Starmer's looking at dog porn, bestiality porn. People are going to use this against him, and I think it's going to be hilarious. So usetheir.id.com is what's being done there. That's so based. It's a based idea. So, is this what the Louisiana Attorney General wants to do? Roblox? No, Roblox is a whole different thing. Roblox is full of pedophiles. Like, Roblox has a lot of problems. So we'll talk about Roblox another day. Roblox is a separate thing. I haven't seen it. Yes. Tor is compromised. I agree. Well, remember, Tor was created by the Office of Naval Intelligence, so it's a glowy thing anyway. So. But yes, I think it's funny you can use the idea of your people, and that'll be a brilliant, brilliant thing. And then, this is just kind of what's true now. The internet is safe now in Britain. And it's sad that it's come to that for Britain. And I do weep for them. But, this is what they've wanted. They wanted to cuck themselves, so they've cucked themselves as hard as they wanted. So, yes, Roblox has a lack of parents being involved because they think it's just for little kids. So, yes, I have the Louisiana Roblox suit in my DMs. Guys, I haven't had a chance to look at it today. I'm not feeling 100%. Graham, how you doing, man? It's saying, why do we need online safety? Is someone going to punch me in the face over the internet? The 2A should be sufficient for online safety. Well, and more importantly, online safety, I mean, it's, he had the whole best issue there. Tyler, the Creator, had the best comment out there, and it's still up. It's still up. And as he says, how the fuck is cyberbullying real? Ha ha ha. Nigga, just walk away from the stream. Like, nigga, close your eyes. Ha ha. And it's true for the safety of the internet. Just fucking watch what your kids are doing. It's not hard. It's not hard. It's not hard at all. It's not hard at all. So, does the First Amendment cover the low orbit ion cannon? Yes. Graham says only a small plurality voted for Labor. Is it really fair to say this is what the people voted for? Enough of them did. They cucked themselves, so this is what they get. This is what they get. You always look at buying stock in Roblox and look at their news coverage. Sheesh. Yeah, I can understand that. Make sure you schedule the Karl Malone talk with the Roblox talk. Jeez. Berinsky is saying, just look at CP first and they will label you an ally and assume everything offensive you look at, you're hate watching. Yeah. I don't recommend that, chat, but I do think that's funny. Yes, if you're just say, I'm a communist and I'm looking at cheese pizza, and they'll be like, oh, sorry, sir. I'm just hate watching the farms. But yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy. Now, on from here, guys, the last thing tonight. If you guys remember, there was a airplane crash in Toronto where the airline flipped over in the middle of the snow. And you guys, I'm going to bring it up. I forgot to bring it up here earlier. But you guys haven't seen it. It's from Delta, and they were flying along, and they flipped it over, landed on the runway in shitty weather. And there's, here is actually from the cockpit of another plane.
Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Oh, no.
So, yes, do a barrel roll.
Airplane just crashed into.
Very much a barrel roll.
Oh, my God.
Anyways, that's what happened. It flipped over. Well, one of the flight attendants on the airline is suing Delta for $75 million. And she claims that they inadequately trained their pilots to operate the flight. And if you guys remember, it was in February. More than 20 people were injured. No one died. They took off from St. Paul, and they flipped upside down while landing. And she was a passenger and traveling to Toronto for future work, so she was deadheading, or I think that's what they call it. So she wasn't working. She was just on the plane. Now, they're saying it cut corners on safety by rushing pilots through training programs and putting passengers at risk with inexperienced flight crews. Now, we do know that for the flight crew information, we do know that they were the pilots were the bravest of women, and that Endeavor Air, which is the contractor that flies these planes for Delta, was all about, yes, queen, we're going to fly. We're going to fly. Yes. Wasn't the lady pilot? It was the lady pilot and first officer. So what happened? Anyway, as it was landing, one of the pieces of landing gear called the side stay fractured. Although, guys, when we watch that video, that thing hit pretty hard, and yeah, you're gonna fucking crush your landing gear. So what happened? Well, she filed her lawsuit, and it's very, very interesting. It's very interesting. It's only 15 pages, so we're gonna kind of blow through this here. So she's suing Endeavor Airlines, and she's suing them, and she's a citizen of Detroit, Michigan, which, once again, it's not abnormal for flight attendants and pilots to operate. They live all over the place. And it says Endeavor Air is a wholly owned subsidiary of Delta. And they point out that this court has jurisdiction under the Montreal Convention pursuant to 28 U.S.C. 1331, as the Montreal Convention is a treaty of the United States. Now, chat, that's what you're saying, well, wait, how does that work? How does that work? What does that do? Well, the Montreal Convention allows you to govern air travel. It's about how do you handle legal issues in air travel? What do you do for liability in cases of injury or death? It's something that the U.S. put together, but it's a treaty that allows you to do that. It's part of the Hague Protocols. It's basically, what do you do? Because this happened in Canada. So who does she sue in Canada? Well, that doesn't work. She should be able to sue people here. That is what she's trying to do. So she's trying to figure out, how do we sue them? Well, we want to sue them here. Doesn't that treaty limit damages? I think there are limits, but I think there's ways around it, what she's going to argue here. So I do think so. I don't know the treaty front to back. I just do know some of those treaties exist. And there are a lot of legal treaties and conventions out there. So this venue is proper as a substantial part of the events giving rise occurred in the Eastern District of Michigan. Venue is also proper under Article 33 of the Montreal Convention, as the plaintiff resides in Michigan and Delta operates flights to and from this district. So she was a passenger on the plane, and they say at all relevant times she was employed by Endeavor Air as a flight attendant. Okay, they do call it deadheading. So pursuant to their policies, deadheading flight attendants are considered passengers, and that's true. You're not allowed to work. You have work limits too. She was not permitted to perform any work duties. And during the landing, they experienced a violent and catastrophic drop. And it struck the ground with excessive force, rolled multiple times. It came to rest upside down. The cabin began filling with smoke and jet fuel, which that's never good, chat. She was rendered temporarily unconscious while hanging upside down. Upon regaining consciousness, she's found herself soaked in jet fuel, which, getting soaked in kerosene is not good, and surrounded by smoke. She unbuckled her seatbelt and fell to the ceiling of the inverted aircraft. Yeah, and that's got to be careful when you do that because you're hanging upside down. If you pop your seatbelt, you're going to fall. When she attempted to exit the aircraft, she fell 6 to 7 feet to the ground because the slides had not deployed. And she was forced to stand out on this part here. She was forced to stand outside in 15-degree weather for 1 hour before transportation was provided. I don't see that's her fault, but that's just showing pain and suffering, or the airline's fault. The aircraft exploded approximately 2 minutes after it exited. It did catch fire. Following the incident, they acknowledged that numerous passengers were injured. And they say it's because they had an inexperienced and inadequately trained pilot to operate the flight. And they cut corners by rushing pilots through training programs. And these are all safety failures beyond inadequate pilot training. Their emergency stuff wasn't critical. Their failure to train a flight crew, the absence of emergency announcements, failure to properly maintain the aircraft's landing gear, failure to provide prompt medical assistance, failure to have adequate emergency response procedures. They say, according to the preliminary investigation by the Canadian TSB, that they said what happened here. They failed to maintain a safe rate of descent. And guys, if you didn't see that, this airplane, your sink rate, this airplane fucking drops like a rock. You guys have seen airplanes land before, but I mean, lands really fast, lands really hard. DEI kills, yes. Yes, a experienced pilot probably wouldn't have done what happened. Were they following a false glide path? I mean, it was a clear sunny day, so I don't think so. This was just incompetent pilots. So they tried to do a carrier landing, yes. And they forgot we don't have carrier landing gear. So they improperly operated the aircraft with an excessive right bank angle. Improperly reduced engine thrust. Failed to appropriately respond to the sink rate alert. And sink rate is part of your GPSW callouts. Sink rate, telling you're going down too fast. They failed to execute proper corrective actions to address the increasing descent rate and the banking angle. They failed to adjust landing procedures. And they say any other negligent actions. And I think we're going to find out these were DEI hires. And I think that's what we're going to find out here. So ultimately, the strict liability against both defendants. So that she was injured in international carriage, as done by the Montreal Convention. And they say that it governs the rights here. And they say, pursuant to Article 17.1, the defendants are strictly liable for damages sustained in the case of death or bodily injury of a passenger, upon condition only the accident that caused the death took place on board the aircraft or in the course of any operations of embarking or disembarking. And she suffered bodily injuries, and then says, what does this mean here? Well, under Article 21, there are damages arising under Article 17, not exceeding the $151,800 special drawing rights, which equates to approximately $219,000 based on current exchange rates. The defendants cannot exclude or limit their liability regardless of whether they were at fault. She's entitled to draw on these damages of up to $220,000 without having to prove fault. So she automatically gets 200 G's off the top. They are brought within 2 years of the date of the arrival at the destination. Yep. There's also now negligence she's going for. So what is she saying there? Well, there's special rights that she could still draw under, and they're still liable for all the damages unless they prove. Notice you can exceed the damages. Such a damage was not due to their negligence or other wrongful act. Such damage is solely due to the negligence or wrongful act of someone else, a third party. So what do they do? Well, they failed to train the flight crews. They failed to ensure the pilot operating was sufficiently experienced. They failed to maintain proper control over the aircraft. Failing to ensure proper functioning of the emergency equipment. Failed to train the flight crew. Failed to properly execute emergency procedures. Failed to properly maintain the aircraft. Failed to provide prompt medical assistance. Failing to maintain a safe rate of descent. Failing to maintain proper pitch attitude at touchdown, chat. And it all matters. You know, if you guys have seen when planes land, they land like these guys landed like a fucking rock. I mean, that looks like a carrier, like the way they drop in, kind of looks like a carrier landing, and a carrier landing is really rough. Let me see if I can bring it up here. You guys have never seen a carrier landing before. You've been on my show, you've probably seen it here, but this is a good example of some carrier landings here. Let's see if we can bring up. Yeah. Watch this. Watch the landing gear on this airplane, how much it has to compress when it lands hard. So this is. As you can see, the whole thing compresses. You have to have special landing gear to land really hard. Yes, Drive Me Closer says, haha, plane go ka-thump. Yes. Who hasn't seen Top Gun? I don't know who has. So show us the Osprey, the one that doesn't land very well. We're not doing that. Yes. And that's the thing. You have to have special landing gear. It's like F-18s, F-14s, any naval aircraft are trained and have special, like the Rafale. It's got special. The F-18 was shallower than that airliner. Yes, that too. So the LSO would grade that one harshly. I'm pretty sure he would have. That wasn't a good one. I mean, besides, what wire did he hit? What wire did this guy hit? Yeah, he hit the 3-wire. That's not going to look good anyway. He can't do that, chat. What got started on planes again? Yeah. Was a former military pilot flying that plane? No. No, this was not these were not military pilots. Military pilots are far better trained. Military pilots can handle emergencies real well. Military pilots are, if you're flying on a plane and you find out your pilot and your first officer are military, dude, you're fucking set. Because those guys are calm, they're set to go. Yes, the guys at 74 Gear and Captain Steve did good breakdowns on this. Yes. Yep. A lot of military pilots work for Southwest. A bunch work for Delta, but they fly the big planes. So, well, military pilots trained while on fire and getting fired on. Yeah, but military pilots are trained to handle in-flight emergencies. You know, you lose all your electronics. You get blinded. Like they're just trained to be calm and proper. Like if you ever watch Sully, where they shepherded a damaged airplane all the way home and landed it. You know, they do a lot of crazy shit. So they're trained. Air Force pilots, naval pilots, yeah. And Kia Patrick is correct. They're not naval pilots, though. They're aviators. Pilots operate boats in the Navy. Naval pilots are the best purely because of the carrier ops. Yes. Naval aviators are the best in the world. French Navy or American Navy. Because the French are the only ones that do Cato Bar stuff right now. So failing to respond to the sink rate warning 2.6 seconds before falling down. Engine thrust, executing emergency management. And they say the defendants cannot prove the plaintiff's damages were not due to their negligence or other wrongful acts. And they say the proximate and direct cause of the negligence, you know, she had a fractured shoulder, she had a TBI. Post-concussion syndrome with headaches, dizziness, cognitive difficulties, bilateral knee injuries, back injuries, exposure to jet fuel and toxic fumes, which is not good, guys. Getting exposed to a bunch of jet fuel is kerosene. Like, having that shit in the air is not good for your lungs. Psychological trauma, being in a fiery plane crash would be pretty fucking traumatic, regardless of who you are. I mean, that's rough. You know, PTSD, I could definitely see that here. That's not bullshit now. So they say as a further and direct proximate cause of the negligence, she will continue to suffer more and more pain and anguish. So she is asking for them to be held joint and severally in amount excess of $75,000 and attorney's fees as the court deems appropriate. There's gross negligence. And at this point, this is being sued. You know, they assigned inexperienced and inadequately trained pilots. They cut corners on safety. All of this. They ignored critical safety warnings. All the stuff that happened here. They forced evacuees to stand outside at 15-degree weather. Well, I don't know how the fuck they would have fixed that. But all of this, yeah, the requested relief, they want full and fair compensation of at least $75 million. Reasonable attorney's fees and cost of the action and other relief is seen appropriate and proper. Now, what is the big thing here? A bunch of people were given, and I think Runkle covered this because up in Canada, Delta was giving people like $30,000, sign here and shut the fuck up. So, yeah, she's not going to get $75 million. She'll get a nice little check out of this, though. And the reason why is, from what I understand, there is evidence that Delta and Endeavor were basically just doing yay womans, yay girl power, and DEIing the shit out of the flights. So, yes, these people were stupid for accepting the offers, but that's why you don't do that. You go talk to an attorney first. Still doubt she gets $75 million. I bet she gets like $10 million. She might get 5, 10, something like that. So that is where we are there. Are they going to pull up some licenses? Yeah. Or does that not happen? Oh, I'm sure those pilots are getting examined for what happened, but I doubt the FAA is going to pull their certs. Class actions almost always just pay the attorneys. Yes. But this isn't a class action, chat. Remember, it's not a class action. So, does she have permanent disabilities? I'm sure she can't work her fucking job again. I mean, like, if I was, like, think about if you're in a plane crash, you'd be terrified to get on a fucking plane again. Well, within your rights, like, you know, especially if you're, like, on DEI Airlines. But I'm sure she got all fucked up, and I'm sure she's going to walk into court. She's like, oh, my back and my sciatica, and she's going to be wearing a neck brace and carrying around a blind guy cane, all that stuff. So, yeah, she's black. That's her permanent disability. And she's a woman, yes. Yeah, she was badly injured, it sounds like, and a lot of people got fucking injured pretty bad. Oh, I think they're going to have to settle because it's all on them. It's all on them. I'm terrified of planes without a crash. See, I like air travel. And every once in a while, when you're in some like really bad turbulence, you're like, this is what a B-17 would have felt like taking flak. Because that's kind of how it goes. You're just flying along, all of a sudden, just like sometimes that's fun. You're halfway expecting, like, I remember one time, last time I was on a plane, I think it was like 10 years ago now, maybe. I was on a plane and fucking the turbulence was so bad. I was expecting to look out a window and see like a bunch of fucking Messerschmitts attacking us. With all I thought we were over like a fucking subpen or something. It was horrible. I giggled during turbulence, yeah. How is that fun? Because you feel like you're doing something important. You feel like you're on a bombing run. It's kind of neat. You're connecting with the past. Because those airplanes would get jumbled around like that. This is what it's like being shot at. Yeah, kind of. Scared of flying, pretend you're about to get shot down. I mean, well, yeah, that's you'll survive. And then real quick, Shade Chaser is saying over on Locals, tonight's main theme seems to be a bunch of people getting caught because they filmed themselves. Yes, that is very true. Don't film yourself. Remember, chat, this is a tattle machine. You know, you will fuck yourself over with this. Do not do it. Do not do it. All right. We are all caught up tonight. We got done, chat, on a pretty good time frame. 2 hours and 20 minutes. I'm happy with that. I am happy with that. Stacey says I fly a lot. Yes, connecting with the past. Yeah, it's like reliving history. You know, you can't go on a bombing run over a submarine pen in Germany now. So hey, you know, it's like you're in the Mighty Eighth show. It's like you're pretending to be those guys. Oh, good time, better time than Team Ferrari. Fuck you. Fuck you. All right, chat. All right, chat. That is it for tonight. I hope you guys liked it. Thought it was a great show. I enjoyed it. Like I said, there was some funny stuff. There was some really serious shit. But yeah, don't be a fucking idiot when it comes to things. Don't film yourself and be very careful. Be very careful what you're doing. Fluffy the Bunny over on Rumble says it was an unmanned flight because the entire crew was all woman. Fair enough. Fair enough. But it's really turning around tonight. Well, thank you. I try. Sleazy for $20. Thank you, Sleazy. Is saying, actually, when and where was the last time you were on an airplane for 18 hours, Sean? Answer the question, Sean. I've never been on an airplane that long. I think that I would go bored. I would die from boredom. I will say, I don't know if you guys, I know lawyer know Peter Tragos. He was on a plane. He went to Greece with his family, and I think it was one of his nephews. He got bet $500 that he could raw dog the flight back from Athens to the United States. And what that means is he couldn't do anything. He couldn't read a book, watch anything, listen to anything. He basically just said, sit there and chill out. He wasn't allowed to talk to anybody. It's actually a very funny thing. It was a very funny thing. He did it. He made $500. But I saw that and I was like, God, there's no way I could do that. But so the longest you've been on a plane is 10 hours. Yeah. 16 and a half hours to Saudi Arabia. Jeez. Is there a clan meeting? Can Kimbo come? Well, you guys can do whatever you want tonight. I sleep on the flight. I actually stay awake the day before, so I sleep through as much as I can. Interesting. 12 hours? Yeah, I don't know. That'd be a lot. Joe Smo says, I've done the 15 hours to Manila. Yeah, I think it'd be fun to fly to the Pacific. I mean, I'd rather do that than Europe at this point. So, unlike last at LA to the UK, ooh, that's a flight. Fuck that. Fuck that. So, 36 hours, the UK to New Zealand, nonstop? Damn. And I take it you weren't flying in one of those A380s where you had the $30,000 suite where you get the shower and everything in it. So, 15 hours from Newark straight to the Middle East. Well, it's like, I doubt it felt like much change except for the heat. You're in the third world no matter what. And Garbage Deplorable Bitter Klinger says, I leave for Switzerland in 10 days. Hell yeah. There you go, man. Good luck. Be safe. Have fun there. Hope you enjoy it. Get those sweets on point, Sean. Yeah. Karen says, that's a long one I can't tell you about, though, I'm sure. Oh, you'll be there until November. Oh, you're doing some work, it sounds like. Have fun. Have fun in Switzerland. It's very based. Very based. Yes, nice Switzerland. So, all right, chat. I am done here. I still kind of feel like hammer dog shit. I hope tonight was a good energy show for you guys. Tried to be. I thought I did a good job. I don't know. You know, I'm sure if I ask my mom will be like, "Oh, you did so good, honey." But oh, your wife is working. You get to go climbing. Hell yeah. So we are going to wrap this up here, chat. We are not doing locals tonight. Like I said, I am not down for it. Do I have court tomorrow? I have some things kind of like late in the afternoon anyway. So I got to go out and do those. Oh, Bella, they released the Corey Mills court documents. Ooh, that's going to be good. That's going to be good. I saw the stuff you've been sending me, Bella. That's going to be a fun one to do here now that we've got all that. Yeah, that's going to be great. But yeah, I do have court tomorrow. I got a phone pretrial at like 10. Then I got an arraignment at 1, and then I got to go see somebody in the jail like at 2 or 3. So Tomorrow night, guys, we are going to go over Laura Loomer's deposition in her lawsuit against Bill Maher. And apparently, from what I've seen the clips on Twitter, we already know she's a psychopath, but she just says all kinds of shit in her deposition, which are fucking hilarious. So we're going to cover Laura Loomer tonight or tomorrow night. It will be fun. We'll start a little earlier, though, because I have a very early day on Sunday for something 2.0 did for me. She got me and my dad, my brother and I, and my brother-in-law and my nephew. We're all going fishing on Saturday morning. Got a nice little fishing thing set up for Lake Erie. So we're going out for that. It's kind of like the cruise. I like this better than the cruise because we get off it right away. But it'll be fun. So I got to do that. We got to be there at 6 o'clock in the morning. So we're going to start earlier tomorrow night, probably like 7 or 8, and get the Laura Loomer shit done. If we have more to do later, we'll do it later. Dee Dee says, your mom's single. Nope. Nope. The best show ever. You pulled it off. No major incidents. Yes. Loomer's deposition is amazing. I know. I wish we had the video of it. We only have the transcript, which is sad. Yes, Bella said you sent those to me. Perfect. I'm going to smuggle in a cell phone. Yeah, I'm going to pass on that. Stacy says, tonight you promised. I'm not feeling good. Guys, normally I could do it, but I don't have enough in me to do it tonight. I'm sorry. I very much apologize. Jim Cox gifting wine sub. Thank you for your support, Jim. I appreciate that. I'm gonna get you another. And the night within a woo. And the night within a woo. Tell your mom to go shop hopping in Pennsylvania. Yeah, I think that I don't know if she's done that yet, but yeah, she might be doing that. Have fun with fishing and share some pics. I hope to. We'll put them over with locals. You need to rest so your immune system stay long. No, locals, don't be a ricada. So, Nick energy levels. Well, that depending on my energy level here or is it here? That's asking. But anyways, chat. Tomorrow night, Laura Loomer. It'll be great. Is it a pontoon? No, it's like an actual boat. We're going out in the lake. You're going out probably 15 miles, 20 miles out in the lake. We're going out there. We're going out there, chat, to catch some real shit. Maybe get some steelhead while we're at it. So, where's our 5K gift? Wrong locals. Yes. So anyways, chat, take care. And remember, until next time, just because you did it does not mean you're guilty. Once again, don't be the sandwich man. Don't waste the sandwich, chat. That is so wrong. That is so wrong. Lake effect fishing. Feel better. Thank you. We'll be back tomorrow, I think. I don't know. It just seems like it's kind of like, I don't know, some 24-hour thing. I don't know. I'm already feeling a little better, but I know I need to get some sleep. So anyways, chat, good night. Take care, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Take care.
Weapons, blacksmithing, and models of planes, esoteric works, and even some trains. Much merriment had while drinking White Claws, tips on hunting, and even talking the law.
Fair point. Fair point, Stacy. Fair point.
Whatever you do, just don't talk to cops. Even when they nab you on illegal stops. Just 'cause you did it doesn't mean you're guilty. But please talk to a local attorney. Was that the fat guy?